Hi, everybody. Welcome to our marketing intern panel. We'd love if you turn your cameras on to make it a little more interactive. It's totally up to you if you want to have your camera on or off, but feel free to stay on and engage with us as we go and do the panel. I see so many of you girls here in the waiting room. I'm so excited. We're going to get started here in just a second. My name is Natalie. I am the founder of Sky Society. I'll be the moderator for today's panel. We're going to do about 30 minutes of questions. So I will ask questions to the panelists, and then I'll open it up for you girls to ask any questions you have to any of the panelists as well, so you can get your questions answered. So we're going to get going here in just a second. I still see so many of you joining. While we wait, in the chat, let me think, what's a fun thing we could do in the chat? We're in October. Oh, in the chat, put what you're dressing up for Halloween as. We'll do that in the chat if you guys want to throw it in the chat while we wait for everyone. This is the first year that I'm actually not dressing up. I'm being lame and I'm staying home this year because I went and visited my family last year, but I feel like I've been seeing such cute costumes all over TikTok. Oh, Wonka, that's so cute. Charlie XCX, Bryn, oh my gosh. In her boiler room set, that's going to be epic. Princess Leia. All the Star Wars ones always turn out so good when I see girls do those.
All these random people.
Scarecrow, super cute. All right, Little Bo Peep. Oh, Tate McRae. Oh my gosh, did you guys see Tate McRae's Skims campaign? Insane. Little Red Riding Hood. I've always wanted to be Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, I think we're about good to get started. So welcome to our marketing intern panel. As I said before, my name is Natalie. I'm the founder of Sky Society. I will be your moderator for this event. I'm going to go ahead, make sure if you are unmuted, if you guys could please mute yourself just so that way we have it silent and just for our speakers to be able to speak. So if you are currently unmuted, please mute yourself. Okay, we're going to get started. So I'm going to introduce each of the panelists. If you didn't hear what I said at the beginning, I'm going to ask the panelists questions for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I will open it up to the floor for you to ask any question that you have. You can raise your hand, you can speak up, or you can put the questions in the chat. So I will start opening the floor up at about 30 minutes. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to start with Ellie Kirby. She is first I'll introduce everyone and you can wave your hand. So Ellie Kirby, intern at LVMH, also known as Givenchy Beauty, or also in the Givenchy Beauty area. Where's Ellie? If you want to wave your hand, say hi. Hi, Ellie. Happy to have you here. All right, next we have Esme. She is an intern at L'Oreal Luxe. Where's Esme? Hi, Esme. Welcome. Next, we have Brooke. She is an intern at NBC Sports Next. Where's Brooke? Hi, Brooke. There you are in the beautiful red blazer. Then we have Elaina. She's an intern at Fanatics. Elaina. Hi, Elaina. Amazing. And then we have another intern over at NBC Sports. They did not know each other prior to this panel. We have Sara. Welcome, Sara. If you want to wave your hand. Hi, Sara. Okay. So I'm going to give the girls a chance to introduce themselves a little bit more in depth. So we'll start with you, Esme, if you want to tell me a little bit about yourself and what your internship is.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Esme. I'm from Chicago, so I spent 18 years of my life there. And then I moved to Canada to go to McGill University. I'm currently pursuing marketing and IT management, and it's in Montreal, Canada, and I love it here. And I'm currently in my final year. I'm graduating in May. And this past summer, I interned at L'Oreal under the luxury division, specifically for Urban Decay and IT Cosmetics. And I'm super happy to be here.
Amazing. Happy to have you. All right, Ellie, if you want to go next.
Yeah, so hello, my name is Ellie. I also grew up in Los Angeles for 18 years, and then now I'm currently studying at Temple University, Japan. So if anyone knows Temple University, they just have a campus in Tokyo, so that's where I am now. And I'm a current intern at LVMH, but more specifically Givenchy Beauty, where I do digital marketing and PR.
I love it. I did not pronounce it as Givenchy. That's I did not know that. That
No
sounds
worries. It's French, so.
all right. Thank you so much. Brooke, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your internship next.
Hi guys. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm currently a direct-to-consumer product and service intern at NBC Sports. I'm located in Florida. I am from Florida originally. I moved 2 hours up north to go to school at UCF, go Knights. And I am in my final year. I graduate next summer and I'm studying entertainment management with a digital media minor and a certificate in managing sporting events.
Very exciting. Welcome, Brooke. Excited to have you. All right, next, let's go over to Elaina.
Hi everyone, my name is Elaina. I currently graduated from the University of Delaware this past May, and I'm currently still working at Fanatics. It's in Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. Um, my major in college was marketing with a minor in health and wellness, and my internship currently is marketing and management, but I'm more specifically working on this past summer, I was on Team USA working for the Summer Olympics, and now I'm on the NASCAR team.
So crazy. Okay, excited. Oh, I'm so excited to go into all of your journeys. Amazing. Thank you so much, Elaina. Okay, Sara, our last intern on the panel, if you want to introduce yourself and your internship.
Hello, I am Sara. Um, my academic background is a little shaky. Your girl went to school the second time around for marketing, which is what I'm currently at. My first degree is in neuroscience. I promise they're not as far apart as you think they are. I have interned or externed at companies like Google, Intel, Beats by Dre, and currently NBC Sports, where I've been for a little over a year now. I am on their creative partnerships team where I get to work on golf, Sunday night football, the Olympics, and our 40th team where we manage the Olympic athletes. In addition to that, I am a Forbes recognized business owner for my own marketing company, Walker Media Group, and all that good stuff. I'm probably missing things, but that's about all the good stuff that you need to know.
I love it. Thank you, Sara. Okay, Sara, we're going to start with you for our first question. So I'm going to ask this to all the panelists, but we'll start with you, Sara. So if you could share, so I think a lot of the girlies here in the audience, we all want internships, but it can feel really difficult to figure out a way to get noticed or to just kind of get your foot in the door. So can you share any tips on how you try and set yourself apart from other applicants when applying for your internship?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of like advice or thing I think set me apart was treating applications like you would treat a marketing project. You have to research a company. You should probably not be using the same resume. I never recommend using the same resume. You should not be copying and pasting your exact
I know these
resume.
marketing people. I'm in a marketing thing.
Sorry, I accidentally muted you, Sara. I meant to mute someone else. Can I unmute you? Sorry, Sara. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. I was trying to mute someone else.
You're fine.
Continue.
I would say to treat your applications like you treat marketing campaigns. You should know your audience, so you would convert that to know your company, cater your product, which would be your resume, and you to what that company needs, what that role is looking for, and then go from there. From everything from your application to how you word your resume, how you word yourself in these, I hate these one-way interviews now, but those one-way interviews, I'm saying to always go the extra mile, recreate a new resume for each person the same way you would for any other marketing.
I love it. So customizing your application materials for each specific job instead of using the same thing for every role. Okay, amazing. All right, Elaina, if you want to go next. I also know some of your answers may overlap a little bit. That's totally fine. That just double downs on the stuff that's important. So don't worry if you guys have some overlapping answers. Okay, Elaina, if you want to go.
Okay, awesome. So my number one thing was when applying and interviewing was to make a bunch of connections. I made sure to reach out to like a million of people when applying to every single job and internship I applied to. I think it's really important to use your past connections. So like your college connections and your professors and just actually connect with everyone. You can never connect with too many people. That was super helpful. And when I was interviewing to like use those connections and like
if we had a mutual or anything to my advantage, and just kind of use that, because I think it will make it more comfortable and easier to kind of like just talk and just and normalize like everything, and just kind of get in. Was connections was my number one thing.
That is so important. You never know who's going to open the door to your next opportunity. On the podcast, there's so many guests that have just like gotten jobs in like the most random ways. So you never know who's going to open up that next door. I love that. Thank you, Elaina. All right, let's go over to Brooke next. If you want to share some of your tips for standing out in internship applications.
Yeah, for sure. I think like one of the things that I used to set myself apart was definitely focusing on like my strengths and my unique experiences. I knew like I didn't have a ton of experience, since technically I'm only a junior in college, but I'm a senior, I'm graduating early. But I highlighted like how much a passion I had for sports and wanting to create content and engage with audience. And I really just like put all my like back end of like knowing what I wanted to do, and I put that out there to show that I'm ready to learn and I'm open to really just learning about the company and and the job.
That's beautiful. That's so important. Thank you so much, Brooke. Okay, Esme will go, Esme will go over to you.
Okay, yeah. So I have a couple of tips, like kind of setting yourself apart. I think one thing that I really made sure to do during my application process, in my resume as well as my interviews, was really quantifying. So like highlighting all my achievements and successes, like that's really going to help you stand out and showing that impact. Like I feel like a lot of the times, like on your resume, you'll put a lot of words, but there's only so much it can show. I think like putting numbers to those like to like your bullet points can really show that impact to the recruiter. Additionally, like doing research. I know Sara mentioned it, like doing research on the company, like do extensive research, like do more than you think that you should. It's always better to show it in your interviews. For example, like for L'Oreal, like they have it's a group, but there's also a lot of aspirational brands as well under that. So doing research and taking a step further, researching those brands as well. And then finally, like I got super involved on campus, and I think that experience is also really important, especially in the marketing industry. So I would definitely like recommend to just get involved. Again, like you never know where you're going to find your next internship and opportunities and where the door is going to open. So just get really involved on campus. And if there's like one recommendation I could suggest for those of you who are like in your first year, is to like be a leader of a club. Like I think it'll give you a lot of skills, like public speaking, managing teams, like that's really, really cool. Event planning, and you just learn a lot of skills that you don't in the classroom. And I think that really helped me in the interview process. So I would say definitely get involved and be a leader in your club.
Were you a leader of a club when you were in school? In
Yes,
college?
I was. I was a president for actually 2 clubs because I was like super excited. So start early, join clubs, and it's also just a lot of fun as well. Like I think for sure I would definitely recommend it.
Love that advice. Thank you, Esme. All right, Ellie, we'll take it over to you.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of what Elaina said, like my take is kind of to try to get as many connections as possible. When I was applying, like I really made sure, especially my LinkedIn looked really good and professional. Like if you can, try to get like a really great professional picture of yourself for your profile, and like whenever you have any sort of like event at like your school, or even if you're doing an internship now, like I make sure that people kind of like know what I'm doing. So, if I ever apply for anything, and I really like cold messaging people on LinkedIn as well. Like people actually know who I am and like what I'm passionate about and kind of what I'm already doing and how that might be able to help other companies and other positions I might be in the future.
Amazing. Okay, those were all such great pieces of advice. If you guys are coming up with questions, just keep them in your head. We're going to get back to that in a second. We're going to go to our next question, which is just learning a little bit about a typical day in the life at your internship. So I understand every day is different, but if you want to maybe share us through like your favorite day or just like an ideal day of what your internship entails, just to give us a little bit of behind the scenes. I'll reverse order this time. So Ellie, we'll start with you instead of ending with you. So Ellie, if you want to share a little day in the life at your role.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite time of the year is if we have like a fun event coming up. So, we always do kind of like PR showcases anytime we have like a new launch for a product or something. And that's always really fun because right before we have like a meeting with my team about like the guest list and like what influencers or what celebrities we might invite, which is always really, really fun. And we always tend to send about like 50 to like 100 giftings to those people before they come. So they kind of have an idea of like our products before they actually get to the event. And that sounds kind of like hectic, but I really love like wrapping gifts for some reason. It like makes me feel like it's Christmas. So I really love doing that. And like my team and I, we all get together and we do it together. So it's also kind of like a bonding moment. And we ship all of them off together. And especially if we have some like really like famous like celebrities or influencers coming, we also go get like the outfits that they'll wear to the event, which is usually like couture, which is like as someone who really loves fashion, that's always really fun to be able to like look at everything and touch everything and be like, oh my God. So that's kind of like the highlight of my day when events are coming up.
Like very fancy errands, very luxury errands. You
Yeah.
get to go into like the luxury stores and pick up the items.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so
Pretend they're
fun.
yours. I pretend it was for me.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wish.
Okay, that sounds so fun. Okay, thank you, Ellie. Esme, if you want to share a day in the life.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, like every day it definitely like differentiates and it looks very different. So maybe like I was thinking I could share kind of like project ideas or not project ideas,
Yeah,
but projects like I worked on throughout my internship
absolutely.
because I think like because I worked specifically more in like PR influencer marketing and for me I didn't have like one big project but I had a lot of like small projects. So in a day like I worked on so many PowerPoints, so many presentations. So in the mornings, like I would always, I managed the It Cosmetics Instagram account, like the local account for Canada. So I answered DMs, comments, tag posts, like really creating engagement on the social media. I did a lot of like social media listening. So seeing like who's posting about the brand. So for Urban Decay and It Cosmetics, what they're posting about, monitoring current trends, super important to like stay on top of trends. So I guess like I was spending a lot of time on TikTok and Instagram on my internship in the best way possible. Working on beauty campaigns for paid influencers. I did like content approvals. So I worked with, I'm not sure if some of you might know Adeline Morin. She was like one of those OG lifestyle YouTubers. And she's actually from Canada. So I was able to work with her for our Urban Decay launch. So that was super exciting. I loved that project. And it was like a full circle moment for me because I used to watch her when I was younger. I also design like PR mailers. So like all the mailers that influencers are like receiving and opening, I designed that from scratch. I did campaign reporting. So reporting like how our campaigns were doing, pitching content ideas. So producing like Instagram reels for the It Cosmetics account. And then also working with Sephora. So creating like visual merchandising materials. So like all the displays you see in Sephora, like I worked on that. Kind of like providing recommendations for our future merchandising displays, and then also creating like online newsletters for new product launches for Urban Decay. So lots of projects, but all very exciting.
Do you feel like you got to learn by just doing so many different things?
Yes, yes. I feel like I learned so much about like all the different aspects of marketing, which I love. Like I feel like in school you don't realize that there's so many different kind of pathways in marketing. Like there's product where it's more about like market forecasts, and then there's also like marketing activation. So that's more about like retailers working with retail stores. And then there's also like influencer marketing. So there's all these different types of marketing. And I think I didn't realize that coming into my internship, but coming out of it, I'm sure there's a place for you in marketing, whether you're like a data focused girl or like creative focused girl.
I love that. Thank you, Esme. All right, Brooke, if you want to take us into a day in the life of your internship.
Yeah, for sure. So mine's very different because it seems like all of you guys work in social media. I mean, I did too, but my internship's very different. I work with product strategy and we look into consumer feedback and see how we can better serve our audience. We work on content ideas with social media a little bit to bring our products to life. I also write articles and newsletters, which is so crazy because if you told me a year ago I'd be doing that, I said no, crazy, but it's a lot of fun. What I'm working on right now for my intern project is I'm actually coming up with a student marketing ambassador program for Golf Pass. If you don't know what Golf Pass is, it's an app where you can book tee times, watch videos, all this amazing stuff for golfing. And I'm also working on a social media campaign for women in golf. So yeah.
That sounds amazing. So yours is a little bit different, but still kind of some overlap within there. And you're doing some, so you said you're writing the newsletters as well.
Yeah, I do weekly golf courses and I write all about it and like all the details about it, when it was built, all that stuff. I have learned so much about golf courses. And like I just started playing. I'm not good at all, but maybe one day I'll be up in an LPGA, you never know.
Yes, you never know where your dreams will take you. Okay, thank you, Brooke. Elaina, if you want to share next.
Hi, so yeah, mine also is not really social media based at all. Mine is more kind of the email marketing aspect of marketing. I'm kind of my day is kind of just like in the morning, I'm picking the PIDs, which is product images for the emails being sent out, which I also didn't know this was like so specific that like the colors depend on like every little thing. It's like is so specific. I had no idea it was like so nitty-gritty. So the mornings I would kind of pick out the product images for the emails going out the next week. Then I would kind of write the subject line, subject headers, kind of use this would kind of go back and forth with my team. It was very collaborative, which was awesome. I worked the best in a collaborative environment, so I loved that. Then I would kind of do the back end sort of thing with the data. I would link the different products to the different places on the sites. I would kind of just set everything up like more like graphic almost, make sure this link goes here, this image is at the top, whatever, like an A spot is right here, which is really fun. And then eventually by the end of the day, the one email would be ready to be sent out for 2 weeks later. I didn't realize like how much goes into kind of the future and like how future focused well, it makes sense, but like how I'm building something for 2 weeks in advance or a month in advance, and like I'm working on stuff for Black Friday right now, which I think is like super cool. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, amazing. So yeah, you kind of getting to see things before they launch, or like really getting to work on them and think through them, even though the public may not see them for a really long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Elaina. All right, Sara, if you want to share a day in the life.
Yes, I wish I can put a meme in here about how I feel at the end of most of my days. It's like that meme of that Barbie doll with her hair all over the place. That's me. This is the pleasure of working in sports and entertainment. One of my more fun days is usually waking up at 5, being in the city. I live in Stanford, close to our headquarters here. Getting to 30 Rock, which is in the city where they film like Today's Show, Jimmy Fallon, and all that other stuff. Getting talent ready for whatever we're marketing that day. So whether it's SNF or whatever it is, honestly, most likely the Olympics. Getting them on set, going with them throughout the day in the green room, trying to film social content while the social team is messaging you about what they want from the social team. Brooke, I know that you've been on the other end of this. I know you have. I know you understand this call. And then honestly, finishing all of that, likely 3 or 4 shows are done before 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the rest of the sports for the rest of the day starts. So like, for instance, I got a message that our flex for Sunday Night Football got switched teams. So our marketing that we did that was very team specific had to completely change on a Wednesday for a game that was happening on Sunday. So very quick marketing had to happen very, very quickly. Brooke, I know you understand this struggle of trying to get graphics done. And luckily, NBC is an incredible place that has a ton of resources. So this fast-paced environment works out for us. But it's likely a ton of meetings. It gets very not so much fun after 12 o'clock. It's more frustration. But I promise it is an incredible job. It's a lot of meetings with a lot of partners, whether it's us doing partnerships between Rolex and Golf Channel for travelers, PGA Tour Championships, Masters, whatever it is. And I'm just really trying to think of the fun stuff because the rest of it is really like just basic marketing, creative stuff. I think that's just the reality of marketing. Not all of it is the best, but I will say the majority of my job, I'd say 90% of my job is very, very fun and very, very creative. I love any chance to go into the city.
Sounds very fun. Like a good balance of stress and fun, I think is healthy. So sounds like you've got
I
a
love
little
that for me.
bit of both. Okay, let's go on to our next question. Let's switch over to, I'm going to combine my next two questions together. So, and then we'll go in reverse again. So Sarah, you'll start with this one. If you want to share what has been your most challenging part of the internship, and then also kind of on the reverse side, has there been any, like, what has been your biggest pinch me moment? Like, oh my gosh, this is my internship. Like, this is so freaking cool. So, both, so like most challenging part, and then also the biggest pinch me moment.
I think challenging part for me was definitely not being an intern in my internship. I think a lot of industries, I don't think this is only entertainment, you don't have time just to be an intern. You are an employee at the end of the day. And I had to get my head out of the fact that, or put my head in the space that these people hired me because they need me. They did not hire me because they needed to fill a space. Companies do not want to waste money. You were there for a reason. So I had to spend that first month or two having those pinch me moments, but also getting work done and pumping work out and actually being an employee, whether it's full-time or part-time, being present and bringing whatever unique things that I said I would bring in my interviews and my applications to that project, to whatever I was doing in that day. So I think just getting my headspace out of being an intern in my internship definitely was the most challenging part. Pinch me moment. Oh, I have a lot. Oh my gosh, I got to spend my last Thanksgiving with 5 Olympians at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and Jimmy Fallon. I hugged Al Roker. I don't know if you guys are, I'm 27 years old. Al Roker is like, he's like the Justin Bieber for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's the Justin Bieber for me. So I spent my Thanksgiving there at that Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I got to bring my family. I got to create content. I got to walk alongside the float. So that was just a pinch me moment as a New Yorker. I feel like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is like the it moment. So being there definitely was incredible. And I still look back on those videos like I cannot believe I was there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm very
Yeah.
jealous. All right. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Let's go over to Elaina if you want to share your greatest challenge and also your biggest pinch me moment.
Okay, awesome. So one of my biggest challenges, I think this is kind of just like very general with any job. I am a very nervous person. At first, it was very hard for me to just make friends when I was going to the office. Just kind of be open with everyone, be willing to talk to everyone, connect, make friends. That was probably the hardest part for me. As like, I wish I could say something with the actual job, but I think a job is what I was hired to do. I knew what was coming. It was kind of harder to get in with like the cliques, like back in like the lunchroom, like make friends. But that's awesome making friends. My biggest pinch me moment has probably been going back to those emails I created. I like from start to finish, I got one of the emails I fully made in my inbox. I was so excited. I opened it. I saw it. I picked everything out all by myself. I was so excited. So that was probably my biggest pinch me moment. I was very proud of myself. And so yeah.
That is crazy. Okay, I also love your challenge. I think that's a very authentic and vulnerable challenge to share that a lot of us can relate with. The like feeling nervous and anxious, and I love what you said. Like your job is like what you knew kind of the responsibilities of the job, but it's more so just kind of overcoming that personal hurdle. So thank you for opening up and sharing that. I thought that was very relatable and very authentic. Okay, Brooke, if we'll go over to you now.
Yeah, okay. So I want to bring up because I also worked for the Olympics as a social media coordinator during summer, and I wanted to bring up because I did have some challenges with that. And even though it was like a very big pinch me moment, it was actually crazy. But I worked for 21 days straight, 13-hour shifts, no like sleep, like I swear I was deteriorating. But when I kid you not, that I was in a hotel for 42 nights. And I woke up every morning and I have never been happier because I was literally working for the Olympics. It was insane. But one of my biggest challenges was like trying to push myself to get out of bed. I was like, why am I here sometimes? And I just like realized like all my hard work like pays off at the end of it. And so another one with my internship now is definitely like the technical side of things. I don't know how to do back end of websites, and now I'm over here literally like doing CMS stuff. I'm like putting articles into the back of end of websites. So I think those are one of the challenging things was like, being able to get up in the morning and like push yourself to do it, especially after working 13-hour shifts and just really trying to figure out stuff that you don't know and being afraid to ask for help. The pinch me moments was I don't know if you guys know the meme with the Steve. He was the, oh my gosh, the pommel horse guy, and then Clark Kent. My meme from social media was on Jimmy Fallon show, and I literally cried. It was insane. That happened, and also Snoop Dogg reposted my meme, and so that also happened. And those were two pinch me moments because they're still on Snoop Dogg's Instagram, and I think that's insane. And the pinch me moment with my internship now is just definitely seeing how like all the work from the back end just translates into consumers enjoying the product, and just it's honestly so cool to see your work like live on a website. So
That is crazy. I would be like screaming, crying if that happened to me. That's insane.
still pinch me. Like I don't know how that happened. I like that's like I was like, are you crazy? Like no way.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Well, congrats, Brooke. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Loved your challenge as well. Okay, let's go over to Esme if you want to share next.
Yeah, of course. So I would say the most challenging part of my internship was like time managing. So as I mentioned, I had lots of like different projects to work on. So I felt like my mind was just like everywhere all at once, like throughout my day. So there was a lot of time management that went into my internship. And I found that something that really helped, I guess, like if I could give a piece of advice when you guys actually start your internship, or if you're, like I mentioned, like if you're in a club or just like working in time management, I feel like something that helped a lot was asking a lot of questions. So set up coffee chats with everyone on your team, outside of your team as well, to really better understand like the brand and also just like how you can successfully execute your projects, because people are always willing to help you. So I feel like going out of your way and taking initiative to set up like these chats really helped a lot for me to better time manage, especially like at the beginning of my internship when everything was just given to me and I had no idea where to start. And then I would say for my pinch me moment, I think like even as little as it sounds, like just walking into the office every day, that was a pinch me moment, like going up the elevators and then like seeing the words L'Oreal, it just still didn't feel real to me every single day that I walked into my internship. So especially like throughout like the very tough like job application process, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going through it now. Like it was a really tough time, like just applying. And so seeing that like rewarding experience and seeing like, coming into the office, it was just like a really big pinch me moment. And then kind of what Elaina said, like seeing your projects come to life, that was a huge pinch me moment. Like these are projects that you worked on and it really like resonated with me. So like seeing like influencers open these PR packages, like these projects that I worked on from the beginning of my internship and seeing them come to life at the very end, and seeing like these influencers post about like the PR package that I got, or like they're super excited to see it, especially like micro influencers who don't receive like these PR. Like I specifically reached out to them, like looked at what they were posting, felt like, it's like, it's just really rewarding to see like yourself making someone's day. So I would say like seeing your projects come to life and also just walking into the office every day was a pinch me.
I can absolutely see that. I didn't have this as one of the questions, but now that you girls are talking about it, do you like screenshot all of this and have a portfolio where you keep it all? You guys will do
Yes.
that? Okay, and you
Yes.
guys send that to like obviously whenever your next internship or role is, you guys are keeping track of all of it in a portfolio.
As long as like you just have to keep in mind that like some things are confidential. So like if things aren't released, but like if it's like a newsletter that's already sent out PR, then of course, yeah, I'll screenshot it. And also like at the end of my internship, my account just like got deleted, whether like you're coming back next year or not. So yes, keep track of everything, keep track from the beginning, the numbers, like I mentioned, like quantifying, super important. So keep track of all the numbers, the data from the beginning of your internship all the way to the end. So you could use that in your resume. So that would be.
That's great advice. And also what you said there that your account gets deleted. I feel like everyone forgets to do it and then they try to go log in with their email and then it doesn't work anymore and you've lost everything. So make sure you do it on your personal email and your personal account. And yeah, not that it's anything like shady that you're trying to do. It's just like tracking your stuff, do screenshots, do numbers, but yeah, always keep it on your personal because yeah, what Esme said, you never know when you're gonna get kicked out. Okay, our last one, Ellie, if you want to go next.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if anyone listening is ever thinking about maybe like studying abroad or even working abroad, but for me, like I always grew up in the US, so just like being in a whole new work environment in like Japan was just like a huge difference for me, where like it was a lot of like cultural things that I really had to like get the hang of, which was a big struggle. But other than that, like kind of what Esme was talking about, I'm currently doing my internship while also going to school right now. So like literally I had to just put all my classes into like Tuesdays and Thursdays and I don't even have a lunch break. So so that I could work like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like 3 times a week and just like kind of trying to juggle both at the same time and like making time for homework, but also like being able to like be, mentally rested enough to like go into work the next day. That has been a challenge for me, but yeah, I definitely have a lot of like pinch me moments too that just really make it all worth it. Like at one of the events, there's usually like a makeup demonstration portion where we have like makeup artists come in and like kind of demonstrate our makeup in front of like the audience of like influencers. And so a couple times, like my team has asked me to like be the model that like gets the makeup done on stage for those events. So like I'll literally be sitting in like the middle of the stage and like influencers that I've like been watching online is like looking up at me and I'm just like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. Like I'm literally getting paid to do this." Yeah, so that's been a huge like pinch me moment for me.
Yeah, and also that sounds amazing. And also I keep forgetting that you are in Japan. You're in a whole nother country. So that adds like a whole extra layer. I feel like extra layer of challenge, but also extra layer of like pinch me because you're not only doing all this amazing things, but you're also doing them in an entirely different country, which is incredible.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay, so we're a little bit over, but that was so interesting, girls. Thank you so much. Your advice was super helpful and very actionable. I hope everyone listening is taking notes. So I'm gonna open the floor up now to questions. If you have a question, Paula, love it, our first one. If you have a question, you can raise your hand like Paula just did. And then you can ask either a specific panelist a question, or you could just pose the question to anybody on the panel and then someone can speak up and answer it. If you don't feel comfortable raising your hand, you could also throw your question in the chat, but I'm going to do the hand raises first and then I'll go to the chat at the end. So Paula, if you want to go first.
Hey, hi guys. So I'm Paula. So lovely to like hear from all of you. So my question is like more based on like the sports girlies, but like everyone can answer it if they want to. It's just more based on them because their industry is more like male dominated. So I just want to know like how is your experience as like a female in that industry and what would you say are like the strengths and the weaknesses of like being a woman and your experience in that.
I definitely could take it from there. Being I can probably speak for Sara because being in NBC is actually like the best company. There is never like any time where I feel like I'm not at the same level as a male person. I always feel like I am able to speak like, you know, my part in sports. I grew up with a brother, I grew up with a dad, and they both coach football and soccer. So I knew a lot about sports. I know a lot about the NFL. I know a lot about like Premier League and all that stuff. So when I walked in there, you know, I never felt like I couldn't be like outspoken about what I know. So that's one thing that like definitely was really good, was you have to find a company that is going to feel like you are able to speak like about what you know. You can't like go into a company and not feel like you can't speak, because that's just not going to end well, first of all. Also, I feel like one of the things that like I just know, it's like when you walk into a company and like you're like you want to know about sports, it's okay to ask. Like sometimes like I don't know people, like I'm, you know, older people, I didn't grow up with them. So it's okay to ask. And most of the time they're not going to like clown you for that or anything. It's just okay to ask. I mean, if they do, that's not okay. But it's definitely just like go in there knowing that you know all that information, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely what Brooke said. I feel the same way. My company is honestly great. Everyone treats me the same as an equal. Fanatics is pretty funny since it is sports apparel. When we go into the office, it's a lot of it's really not business casual. It's very wear the jerseys, rep the Phillies, rep the Eagles, which is really fun. So it's like that's just kind of like I've honestly never had a jersey myself in my whole life. So joining Fanatics, I finally bought my jersey and wearing my jersey again, which is really fun. Well, and I just have to remember it's normal to be confident. It's like you're expected to be confident. You're allowed to ask questions, and that's like a very normal thing to do.
I would definitely say the same thing. Like Brooke said, she genuinely can speak for both of us when I say it is definitely a male-dominated industry. But bring your personality. I'm really big on bringing your personality. I'm very much so a girly girl, and it has made all the men around me girly girls too. So I now have everybody watching Love Island USA, the first season, but whatever. And we have started a roster for who they think will make it to the end. So bring your personality, but also it is very likely these are for the girls who do go into corporate America where they are male dominated industries. Please go there and do not let them dim your light. I'm being so for real with you. If you are a girly girl, a tomboy, be you, but also cover your butt. But also cover your butt. Keep good records. I'm very big. If y'all ever need corporate advice, corporate America advice, I'm your girl. Keep really good records. That is what I will say. But be yourself. Bring yourself to those spaces.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Helen.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. And this is for anyone who wants to answer. I was wondering if you guys had any tips for interviews, and like specifically when they ask the like, who are you question, or like describe yourself, like how do you go about answering that?
I honestly, this is what I did. I had a problem interviewing. I sucked at interviewing at first, because I was talking to interviewers like they were my best friend. But what I did was I listed 5 things I am very, very proud of professionally and academically. So I want you to take those 5 things that you have listed about yourself and convert them into sentences. I have a template that I use for every single person. I've memorized that now so much that I can say where it sounds flawlessly. Don't be afraid to rehearse that part. There are some elements of your interview that I definitely believe that you should rehearse. And that about me part is that I think a good place to start off with is those 5 bullet points. And try to bullet point things that are not on your resume. They've read your resume and likely a cover letter. They don't need that again. So try to do things that are not on your resume, I would say.
I love that. Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else want to add?
I think maybe like quickly, definitely what Sarah said, like mentioning your achievements, your biggest successes, like really, really highlight that, because this is like the big first impression. Like the interviewers are gonna like create kind of like their idea of you from then on. So I would say like give like the biggest first impression, smile a lot. Like in my interviews, every time I like
Hi. Okay, so I'm originally from Florida, but I'm studying at Queens for commerce. And basically how we do it here is like I'm like a full-on business student, so it's like accounting, finance, and a little bit of marketing right now. And I just like feel kind of behind in marketing because like everyone I feel like can major in marketing. I can't do that yet. And I want to work in like beauty or health and wellness. So I'm just wondering like how do you get over the hump? Like I did like a marketing internship last summer, but it was like a lighting company, which I don't really want to do. So I was just wondering like how do you get over the hump and like get to like the industry you want to be in?
Yeah, so I'll take it from here, but honestly, like even in school right now, I'm not even studying marketing. I'm studying psychology and film production, so it kind of goes together, but like if somebody looks at my resume, it's not gonna say marketing. So I definitely think like don't let that stop you. I definitely think it's also like how you market yourself, like how I talked about on LinkedIn. If marketing is what you're passionate about, like I think like there are lots of opportunities, even like outside of interning that you could probably participate in that will still make it clear to like anybody who's like looking to hire you that like that is like the kind of like thing that you want to do. Like I would also recommend like what I did when I didn't have much experience but wanted to get into marketing was like doing different like certificates or like trying to like kind of learn more about marketing on my own and also kind of have something like on my resume that kind of shows like, oh, like I learned this and like stuff like that. And I also think like if you want to get into beauty, like different companies also do like ambassador programs for your school potentially, and it's just like all online and remote, and you just have to like hop on a couple Zoom calls every now and then, and that is like a great way to like make it known that like this is what you want to do, and like even though it's not necessarily what you're learning, like it's definitely not something that is like impossible or like I think it's just how you want to go about things.
Thank you, Ellie. I love that. Anyone else want to add? Okay. Any last questions for any? Oh, here we have in um the panelist. Okay. Well, Sarah answered that one in the chat. Any other questions you girls want to ask any of the panelists?
Oh, I have a
Could I?
question.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
No, Olivia, you can go. It's fine.
Okay, I can't find the button to raise my hand, so sorry about that. But this question is kind of geared towards like all of you guys. So did you guys experience any career pivots, such as consulting or investment banking? And then what was kind of like your it moment for pursuing marketing as a profession?
Girl, I was in medicine, a year into medicine with my father's money. Yes, I did a career pivot. So I've experienced it not only in having to talk to my parents about the fact that they just wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars on me, but then telling them that I'm going from a very sure industry to going into something as like I'd say unstable as marketing in their eyes, because marketing was not as huge of a thing, especially my parents' generation. So that was a thing. But one of the things I had to learn how to do, which you'll probably see it in the comments, is make every experience I've had a marketing experience. Marketing is you've marketed sometime in your life. I don't care if you scooped ice cream. I don't care if you, like you said, done design before. You have marketed in some level, whether you're doing, you can turn your design into like, oh, I've done product designing or I've done campaign designing, or even if you were a sales associate, because I was a sales associate before that. I marketed actual product because I had to sell the product. So I had to learn consumer marketing, what the consumer needed. I did consumer research just so I can sell things. Um, so I pivoted into that. So I would say to focus on your previous experiences and really do a deep dive into what your role looks like on a daily basis and draw out what was marketing related and sort of lean into that. Also, externships, great way to do it. They're very short, very sweet. You likely will not get paid for these things because they are learning experiences. Um, but do those. Those will also give you some actual real marketing experiences on your resume. That's my spiel.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, was there another question?
Yeah. This is open to like everyone, but I know that someone had mentioned like when networking, especially through like LinkedIn, sending cold messages is like a really good way of networking, especially through LinkedIn. So I just had like a question on what you guys would suggest when cold messaging, especially between like the different industries, whether it be beauty or sports marketing, and kind of like if you have like any advice on like if you feel like you're being ghosted and you don't want to like be seen as like annoying, but you also want to like get in touch. So how would you kind of suggest that, especially from like remote ways through networking?
So for me personally, I got a lot of responses back from people I had mutuals with, or definitely people who I went to school with and I was previous alumni with them, or however it worked. I feel like if you go to school, if you have a group, people want to help you, but they're more likely to help you if you're from the same community or if you have some sort of background. So when I would message people, I would be like, I see you went to Delaware as well, like go Blue Hens, well, and then ask them for advice or anything. So I think it's really important to kind of find that mutual connection because people want to help you, but people are less likely to help you if I feel like it's kind of totally random.
I love that. Thank you, Elaina. Any last questions for our panelists? Okay, well, huge thank you and round of applause to these panelists for being just so inspiring, so well spoken, and just sharing such incredible advice. So I know we're all on mute, but you can hear the virtual clap. So thank you, girls, so much. I think everything you said had so much value, and I hope you girls listening feel inspired and feel like you took some actionable advice you can go and apply into your everyday lives and to getting your next internship. This was the first panel